hi, and hello. It is not a good day. It is not a good night. It's not a good evening. We are mourning the loss of royalty this evening. The end of the Spice Girls. More importantly, the end of Shiz. We said goodbye to Queen Shonee on today. I guess we also lost Sam. We lost Sam in the shuffle.
I know, poor Sam.
Whatever. Sorry, Sam. And I slept through Flick's eviction. So let's just get this sucker started. Yeah. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino, and this is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at StratChatPod or on our website at StratChatPod.com. Tonight, we are chatting about, what is this, episodes 16 and 17?
Yes.
Yeah, 16 and 17 of Australian Survivor. Lots and lots of things happened. Things have really kicked off since merge, haven't they? Hi, Matt. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Matt.
We did lose everything.
We did. We lost everything.
The sax solo was insensitive. Yeah, this was a rough one. But we do have somebody else's eviction to get to first. To not be disrespectful, because there were a lot of exciting things that did happen around that. But it did kick off with this reward challenge. I mean, I guess this was fun. This is the first time we really saw George fired up for a physical competition, because the reward was KFC chickens. And then, they had to be on the pole, and whoever stayed on the pole longest, blah, blah, blah. Hayley and George win. They take their chicken, and then they decide to go with the second place people, like, to bring with them. So who was it? That was Shonee and Friend, right? Jerry.
Shonee and Friend.
Because I didn't right off remember like who was. I remember thinking how wonderful for Shonee, like getting to go on the reward. Yeah. So and Jerry. Can we also just have a quick aside for Jerry? All right, because a few weeks ago it was like curtains for this man. Okay, bad ankle. Sam had basically told him that he was, just damaged goods. So what? So what? Sam said. And Sam actually now ended up walking out the door before Jerry. I think that's, of note.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, Jerry killed it in this challenge, too.
Well,
like, bum ankle who?
Right. I was just going to say, everybody wouldn't stop talking about his foot injury, his ankle injury, whatever he had going on. This competition, this competition in particular, has to be extremely painful for your feet and your ankles. So, like, the fact that was even ever an issue, and then here he is now performing pretty well in this is, impressive.
Justice for Jerry, all right? Mm-hmm. Don't you count this man out. He's in contention to pick up a point this week. He's in contention. He won't. Because there's so many other things going on. Like, I don't believe Jerry's going to give us enough, right, to really hit the charts.
I mean, there's still another episode.
I know there is still another episode, but like it's not looking good. But yeah, so there's that. So what happened? What happened gameplay wise? Shaun's talking to Simon, Nina, and Sam about potentially blindsiding George. And then at this point now tells them that he's got this idol that he could use towards it. Originally, he was talking hypothetically, and he said, yeah, well, whatever. I'll just tell you. I got one. People love like telling other people about their idol. Like, it still didn't need to happen.
Everyone tells everyone everything. I'm like, some secrets are okay.
Right. Like, this is a game of secrets.
It's funny too because Shaun had kept this a secret for so long from everyone, and it's like now you bring it up. Like why?
Yeah.
He was bragging about how like what is it 20, 21 or 22 days or something. He kept it silent. He should have kept it silent a little longer. Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, George is over here telling Hayley about the fact that he won the $60,000 on that other reward challenge reward win. That's what I really want.
Right. It was that. I think it was that auction. He got the guest of honor at the auction.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yes. And won that 60,000 there. Kind of planting a seed, right? Like to kind of see if this kind of gets around or whatever. Then we know it's Hayley's fault. We did see that actually might start to happen.
Yeah.
What did you think of this? Did you think that was a good move?
Like I get why he did it. Like let's see if this information gets around. Right, but I get why you want to put some information out there and see if it gets around. But I don't know if this was the information. Nobody else out there has $60,000 yet.
Right,
$60,000. I would take a year off.
Right? Yeah, I was watching this. I was like, oh, I don't know. This.
I don't know if this was the bomb to drop.
Yeah, this isn't the one you test. You test if like maybe you ate more rice than you were supposed to, or something like that. Like maybe,
or like pretend you have an idol or something.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to pretend you have an idol either. I mean, what if people load up on you?
Well,
yikes. But so that was that. So good luck to George. But now they had to play. Oh my God. So this immunity challenge. This just felt like a twist of something that like we've kind of seen before. With this wobbly frame, now having to spell out like heroes versus villains, walking.
Oh yes.
Holding the string, trying to make sure that it stays balanced and everything. There is just no version of me that would ever have the patience for this.
I get so like ragey watching it happen to other people. I cannot imagine what it's like being the person competing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Dan? Dastardly Dan has become Dandardly Dast.
I like it.
He says 60K, damn. BB will give people like 10K and they'll get voted out because of it. 60K, however, vote my ass out. I don't care. I have 60K. And that's the thing. It's the amount of money. This isn't a 5K or a 10K prize like Dan says in BB. That you see even here, people will get voted out because of that. Like, oh, they took the money. Like, you could have been going home. Why'd you take the money? You should have played for the idol or for the veto, right? So yeah, 60K. That's more than I make in a year.
Yep.
So,
So Simon wins this one. Simon's really good at these things that you need to focus on and like really like he's really good at these, as we kind of saw in the next episode too.
I was like holding my breath too because he knocked over those 2 letters and I was like, don't even tell me that he had it. He's gonna lose it right now.
Yeah, that one S that like went way past the frame, and I was like, how is he gonna hit? I'm like, he's gonna hit his head on this.
I would literally I would throw the letters down and be like, I'm done. Forget it. Forget it.
I couldn't. Yeah. But congratulations to Simon. Like, way to go. Like he's gonna win his way to getting back some agency in this thing. Which is like really, really awesome. It's awesome. So after all this is now when Hayley has a conversation with Nina, basically saying actually there was a little bit that came before this. I can't wait to get there, right? Because it wasn't always on Sam, wasn't it? Wasn't it originally someone else and then they switched or something like that?
I honestly don't really remember. Unless they were talking about trying to split the votes at one point and then just switched. Let's all do Sam. I don't really remember for sure, to be totally honest.
I don't really remember either.
I feel like there was a switch or something there, but anyway, so Hayley did disclose to Nina that the intention was, to
I know. If you don't mind, I do know what happened. So George suggested a split vote between Nina and Shaun. That was the plan, to split the votes. But wasn't sure about Simon, so then pulled everybody aside except for Simon after that and said, no, we're doing Sam. I don't care what Simon does. We're all doing Sam. That's what it was. So they originally were going to split the votes on Nina and Shaun, and then because of like kind of some suspicions surrounding Simon, they all changed it up and said, let's do Sam instead. That's what it was.
Yeah, I knew there was a switch or something. I just didn't remember how we got there. But yeah, so Hayley discloses to Nina that the plan is to now load up on Sam, and basically saying, if you have an idol, then make sure you play it for Sam, so that now we can make a move on George. Which I said, finally, like somebody is trying something. And I thought for sure that this was now going to go back to Shaun, which Nina did. Nina brought it to Shaun, and I thought that this is now how we're going to use this idol. Like this is finally, like this is actually going to work. And Shaun rejected it almost immediately, as if like, no, I don't know. I don't think that information is any good. Like, now I understand there being some suspicion around it. I just don't know that I would have shot it down as fast as he did. It looked like it wasn't even a consideration.
It was like immediately like, nah.
Yeah, right. Like I would have expected him to take that and been like, even if he was skeptical, been like, all right, well, I want to go talk to Hayley about it myself. Rather than just like totally dismissing it for, right away. I would have been like, we sure about this? Let me talk to Hayley. Let me go talk to her. Because they were at one point working together. Even if Hayley, switched sides, like it's not like there was no relationship there whatsoever. I'm surprised that he would just be like, nope, not buying it, not doing that. I would have wanted to go have a conversation.
Right. I mean, because that sounds too good to be true. Like, don't you want to like look into that? Like, I don't know. Like it seemed like that was just like discarded like rather quickly. But then they go idol hunting and Nina finds her own. Which I was like super excited about. I was like, okay, there's still some hope like for this plan, because like I definitely got the impression that Nina believed Hayley, and that Nina would still be moving forward with this, if she had an idol of her own. And then it happened, and I said, well, that's it, we're locked down. Is there anything else before Tribal? There wasn't, right? That really just kind of let us.
It's just,
I think so.
I was just struck by how close Sam was to finding that idol before Nina found it, because then that would have changed everything. And it was the same idol that I think Flick was this close to finding also on the night that she left. It was that same idol in the same spot, and Sam was right there, didn't see it, and then here comes Nina. And if Sam had been the one to see that in that moment, this whole thing would have been completely different. So that's the only other thought that I had before we moved to Tribal Council. So
just too bad. It's really too bad. That actually casts even more of a sad light over this. And not that I'm hating on George. Like, listen, I still think that his gameplay is incredible or whatever. But but it is starting to get a little boring. The steamroll here, and like, I mean, it's really not very exciting. If he gets to the end, it doesn't make sense for anyone.
It was just so exciting that there was finally like a real plan being put in motion of like, okay, everyone says we got to get him out, and then we go, yeah, we'll figure it out. Now someone's finally saying, okay, we have to get him out, and here is specifically how I'm going to do it. And it easily could have happened.
Yeah. But they get to Tribal. I mean, like, and like, listen, I don't know what the edit was. I mean, like, who knows what really went on here? But I don't think there was anything that was really said here that should have extra spooked anyone. I didn't find this Tribal to be particularly electrifying. For me, it was like, can we just get to the end of this so we can see how these idols go? Because I was like just so sure that this is going to end the way that it was supposed to.
Right.
So Nina, she gets up. She does play her idol. She does. She plays it. And she plays it for herself. Fine. But then, which was still disappointing, because I didn't have as much hope in Shaun. I had more hope in her, so I kind of felt like I was, floating injured in open sea. But then here comes Shaun, and Sam flat out asked me, said, "Please,
literally begging him,
please play it for me."
Yeah. Shaun said, "I'll buy a case of beer if I'm wrong."
Woof.
Yeah.
I think that there's more here that we didn't see, and there's a reason that Shaun and Nina felt as strongly as they did that they had to play it for themselves. Because
there must have been something.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, right? Because Simon has been flip-flopping back and forth for how long, right? He's flopped back to their side now because they've convinced him that, like, we're going to take a shot at George, right? So they know Simon's on board. They've gotten this little bit of information from Hayley that Nina said, like, yeah, if you've got an idol, play it for Sam. But we know that the last conversation that Simon had with this alliance was that they were going to be splitting their votes on Shaun and Nina. So if they heard from Simon that the plan for this, majority alliance was to split votes on Shaun and Nina, and the only thing they've heard otherwise is that Hayley was just very, oh, by the way, play your idol for Sam. Maybe they took what Simon said and we just didn't see it maybe they took that as more of a sure thing than whatever Hayley was trying to dish to Nina as like a secretive thing. So Shaun and Nina maybe felt like, well, they're splitting the votes on us. We have to do this. Like Hayley could be trying to trick us, So that's the only thing that I'll say about that. But
well, absolutely. And it's like, we're not they are not privy to all the information that we are, so like you're sitting here, like I also I can't say that I would not have done the same thing. If I have an idol, especially if I've been holding on to it for 22 days, and now I get to this point, and like I was going to play it for myself, I then decided to play it for somebody else, and then I went home, I don't think I could ever live with that.
Right, of course, that would be wild.
I could live with you going home. I can't live with me saving you and then playing it incorrectly. Forget it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to go to the grocery store. So embarrassed.
Not the grocery store.
Yeah, any place you feel like you would have the freedom to be broke down, I wouldn't even feel like I belong there. Okay? Or even like 7-Eleven at like 3 a.m. Not even appropriate. Just stay home forever. Don't ever show your face in public. Oof. So bad.
Well, got me too. When the first vote was read for George, Shonee immediately turned to George and was like, Simon wrote that. Is there why? I was like, did I miss something here? Like, why are we so certain? Because yes, he did, but also like, why do we for sure? Like, why was that her first instinct of like, oh, Simon?
Or I just assumed she knew his handwriting.
She probably recognized the handwriting. Is my guess.
It was like just immediately she was like, that was Simon. I was like, what? Huh? It's like I've been watching them write people's names down, and I have no idea who wrote what.
Well, see, that's what I think is also interesting about this, because like these people, like they know each other, like these returnee people. I like that.
I'm 3 a.m. The guy had to counter mocks him. Kyle goes home and there's a guy who broke into his house just to mock him.
Believe it. That's exactly what would happen. Like, you jerk. Good for you. So glad you saved your idol.
DM Rocks has joined us. What's up, DM?
Hey.
Says the Spice Girls reminds me of the Russell, Parvati, and Danielle alliance from us U.S. Heroes versus Villains. I didn't see that season.
I know. I wish I could comment on that, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we are not up.
I have seen all of those names before, but I don't.
Yeah,
we have become big Survivor fans, especially Australian Survivor. Kyle and I have been on the Australian Survivor train for a bit now, but we definitely still have a lot of work to do in getting caught up on the history of Survivor around the globe. Danderedly Dast also says Kyle calls the police and they just mock him.
Well,
I like this whole narrative of Kyle failing at Survivor. That's just been built in the last 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I would fail at Survivor. Well, I mean, they wouldn't even put me on the island unless they just.
I'm not making it past the first
unless
video.
They did it to mock me. That'd be the only reason I'd ever get canceled on this show. No,
I could never. I wouldn't make it on this show. I wouldn't.
Yeah, the only reason I would ever get cast in literally any of these shows was to be the person of like, look at this idiot, you know, like I am not.
No, it'd be to be made fun of. Like that would literally be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. Right. That's that on that. Goodbye, Sam.
Yeah. Bye, Sam.
Bye, Sam. It's nice to see you again, we suppose.
Thank you for your effort in this version of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he seems nice. I mean, his most impactful moment for me, slam Jerry. And it was not a shining moment to me. So there's that. But yeah, so George felt burned. What?
This is very sweet. You all need to give yourselves more credit. You would crush it on the island, and anyone would be lucky to be aligned with you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
That is
Blevins.
a very kind lie. Thank you.
No negative talk on Matt's watch.
Yeah, it's not so, but we do thank you for the love.
I appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah, so George felt burned by Simon's betrayal. Okay, and now he wants to vote everybody out. He wants to vote. Now he wants everybody to vote Simon out. And it's like enough now. Like this whole war, I find like this war is like getting like a little tired. Like enough with this too. Like, how do we get like George out of here? Like, please. So yeah, obviously Shaun and Nina are upset. Because they played their idols completely incorrectly, totally flawed. Blah 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 blah. This is where Shonee now finds her idol, which greatly excited me. But I also in this moment I had gotten a little nervous too, because I was just like, I don't know, like I just kind of knew this was not going to mean anything. Did you also have like an empty feeling? Like it didn't feel great in the moment. I don't know what it was. Felt like it was like the worst bit of like false foreshadowing.
It was just like, how did she even see it? She just got out of like the water on the beach, and she was just like, "Oh," and walked right over. Like,
yeah, maybe that's
well,
what
look
it is.
at that.
Like, anything that is found that easy just doesn't feel like it's actually going to do us any good. If that makes sense. Like I don't know. Like it just seemed too simple.
No, I got
not
you.
turn
Yeah.
into anything. Yeah, like anytime they say, "Oh, well, that's it. It's open and shut. We're definitely voting this person out." It's like, well, you know, it's not that. Like that's what the finding of this idol gave me. But
do you think that her finding this idol though, when she did, is what contributed? Because I did feel like her and Liz were being very like just loose about talking about how like, yeah, George is on the bottom of the Spice Girls and we just want to, we're going to do this instead, even if George wants to get Simon out. And we're just, you know what I mean? Like if she didn't find this idol, would she maybe not have felt so secure? And, I don't know. Because it felt like, like
maybe
they were not
it gave us some confidence that maybe like we.
Right. It just felt like, they were very just open about calling themselves Shiz. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, be a little more careful.
Yeah, a little discreet.
Yeah.
Because that's like the moment he heard that name, it was over,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Might have another comment, but that's later. Because now they started doing these little exit interview things. Have you noticed that, like on social media?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, now they're sharing like these little moments with them, like recording like a little video as they're like, I guess, being driven to the jury villa or something. Like they're in some kind of a vehicle or something. And yeah, it's just, Shonee's comments like on her way out were like actually funny. Like she's such a good sport about like the whole thing. Like I
love her.
Yeah, it really just made me like her even more, just seeing like the way that she went out. Anyway, so George hears that and feels like he might be third wheeling it on this in the Spice Girls alliance, and this concerned him. And he said, like, listen, if that's going to be the case, and I need to swing first, and I need to just break this up completely. Which, taking emotion out of it, he is absolutely correct.
Oh yeah,
like this was the way to do this.
Absolutely.
Really
it just sucks for us.
Yeah, I just really, really didn't want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we play the immunity challenge. I mean, a lot of steps to get there. This was an interesting one, though. First of all,
I
those
like this.
sandbags. Yeah, this one was cool. So the first step, you had to like throw sandbags onto like a platform, which I was like, "Are you sure they're not coconuts?" And I'm like, "Kyle, why do you think you would spot a coconut before Jonathan? Like, why do you think you know it better than him?" I was like, "That doesn't look like a sandbag to me." Like it's just like really, really ridiculous. And use these sandbags to now knock these rungs off and like build this like horizontal ladder.
A bridge.
You're like, all right.
Oh my god.
Build like a horizontal ladder. Yeah, bridge works a lot better.
Yeah.
Build a bridge and start moving across. It's been a long day. Anyway, yeah, so off they go. You know what it is? Because I was also looking at the Wikipedia thing and I was going back and forth and I just saw the word ladder and I was like, huh. And I was like, why did they use the word ladder? And it's like, but that's where you were knocking the rungs out of. But I was just like, oh man. And I got lost in that. So I was like, I gotta make this word ladder work. Oh
my god.
There's a lot going on in that moment. All right. So actually, I think I deserve credit for some of it. Okay, because it was a maneuver, it was a mental maneuver.
Okay.
So any Hoosers, after this, now they had to do another one of these balancing things. Okay, be tethered across with these little and building these discs. Now we saw this challenge before we actually saw the episode. If you follow Jonathan on the socials, we got to see him do it. Which I guess they make them do, obviously, these discs in the way that they do them, like going from like big to small and then big again. So I was like, well, why wouldn't you just stack them the other way? And it's like, Kyle, they must not let you, moron.
Right, like that's probably the rules.
Right, because what kind of a challenge would that be? Right? Stupid. This is another one that I would have absolutely no patience for. And I feel like I'd be even worse at this one than holding the string. Because like, how is your body like not shaking in this? Right? You're probably like hungry and in the sun and you're trying to focus on it so much it probably would make you shake more. This looked like a mess.
Yeah, this looked hard. Which makes it even more impressive that Simon really...
There's a new king in town, all right? Compton Beast, Simon.
I got to tell you, like, there's another episode to go, obviously, this week. But I'll tell you right now, Simon is the front runner for my 3 points this week.
It's just so funny because it feels like a couple of days ago that we were talking about, like, oh, yeah, Simon, he always has to be the one to go twice because he's got to redeem himself from how badly he failed it the first time. Never good in any of these competitions. And he was like, all right, watch this. I'm now going to win 2 of the hardest ones in a row.
Yeah. Like it's funny because he's still done that sort of flip-flopping thing, but I feel like there's been 2 immunity challenges this week, and he's won both of them. So, like, how can you really put anybody else above him right now?
Yeah,
it's not like anything. Whether you think it was a mistake to flip back to the Shaun Nina side and try to get George out, whether you think that might be a mistake or not, he has kept himself safe the whole week, regardless of what he decides to do at Tribal Council, because he's the one wearing that necklace every night. So,
and this technically counts as his 3rd, solo immunity win.
That's right. That's right. You're right.
Even though back then we were not happy that happened. I'm certainly happy now.
It makes that other one even crazier because he was going home that night.
Yep.
He was going to go home that night. And he won that when he had to, and now he's won these 2 too. Like it's very impressive. Great job, Simon. Really.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to tell you also, I'm just remembering this too. Like he may not be the best with strategy. He may not be the smartest guy in the cast, but like he really genuinely seems like a good person to me, Simon. Like he won this competition. He's been kind of flip-flopping, like we've said. And what was the first thing that he did when they got back to camp after he won this and he knew he was safe? He went to the well with Shaun and Nina and said, like, I'm really sorry. And they were like, what do you mean? Why are you sorry? And he goes, well, because now I know that it's going to be one of you two going home. Like it might have been me. Now I won, so like that puts you guys in a tough spot. And I'm like, the fact that he is coming back to camp and one of the first things on his mind is to apologize, to Shaun and Nina, who have been on the bottom for the last few weeks. Like, God, I can't help but root for Simon, even if I haven't been the biggest fan of his throughout the season at times. Like I like Simon, honestly.
Yeah. Welcome. I started switching to Simon a couple of episodes ago. I was too scared to be too vocal about it, because I was pretty vocal on the other side. It makes me sound like a hypocrite, but no. I mean, everybody can change, everybody can grow. All right.
Yeah.
And that's where I am now. Pro Simon. Gina?
Yeah.
Listen, he has been on my top 3 like what, every week?
That is true.
Or most weeks, if not every week.
I think I gave him 3 points one week. Or maybe not 3, maybe 2. He's definitely been in my top 3 before. He has been in my top 3. I don't know. Oh, and last week he was in my top 3
Kyle tried to shade us for picking Simon in his absence, only to put Simon in his top 3 moments later. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm a flip flopper. But I have been saying that I like Simon a lot. Okay, I have been liking Simon, and I've been saying that Simon is the new Fessy, and much to Gina's chagrin.
Yeah.
But hey, people on the come up. What do you want us to say? So yeah, the majority still want to split their votes between Shaun and Nina. Which is what it says, but I don't remember that conversation at all. Like, I just remember like George is going on a tear about Shonee, and then like I don't remember any of that at all. Like, Wikipedia has given me information. I don't recall this.
Well, I know they there was a point where they wanted to. Yeah, they wanted the vote to be 3-3, and then George was not thrilled because that meant that Simon would have such power. Yeah, he would be the swing, and he even said, like, "Can I be the one that decides then? Like, can I vote to send Nina out?" And George was like, "No, well, the whole point is to get Shaun out." And then George abandoned that whole idea as soon as he realized, no, I need to break up Liz and Shonee.
Right, because his whole big thing, he was really trying to push a lot on Shaun because, he was like, oh, what a physical threat. But that's because he was really just getting nervous over the whole Shiz thing. I felt like his play here started to look a little unravelly. Like, it started to, George. Now that I'm remembering some of this, it just felt a little frantic. Which I guess is understandable because now you're a little jarred over this alliance as you thought was a little bit more solid. But did you get that feeling that it just looked like we're kind of just running around like, oh, we don't really know which one's going to stick. So we're just kind of just trying a number of different things. Which just felt out of character for him. Yeah.
And I think this is a pivotal moment for George that we don't really know how this will all play out. Probably till next week, because at this point, they had a 7-4, split at one point. Then it was 7-3. Then it was 7-2. But now George, leading the charge to get Shonee out, is sending out one of his own numbers. And so that automatically drops that side to 6 at the most. But if Shaun and Nina are now able to pull over Simon and Liz, now you've got a 4-4 split here. You know what I mean?
Right, because it's not even just like he depleted one of his own numbers, but he pissed off other people that are also his numbers.
Right. Simon's been flip-flopping anyway, but now Liz, is she going to want to continue to work with George and that side once they sent out Shonee? So now you're looking at potentially a tie. Now? Right. And who knows what Hayley's going to want to do? Maybe Hayley's like, well, now we don't really have a majority, so I'm going to go back over with Shaun and Nina. Well, and now all of a sudden, George is in the minority.
That next on.
Yeah, and Hayley's already been trying to get George out. So, like, that just kind of enhances her plan,
Exactly. Right. No, definitely. 100%.
And this gives Hayley that reason to now disclose that $60,000 secret. because like now I can use this against you, and now it's going to gain some steam because no one's going to trust you enough to get close to you again to try and work with you.
Right.
You burned her far too early.
But it's hard though, because who knows if George would have made it much longer if he didn't make this move. You know what I mean? It's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like, I know that they're gunning for me and they don't consider me an equal part of this Spice Girls alliance. Liz and Shonee feel like they're at the top. And we heard them in this episode even say, like, yeah, maybe one tribal or two more tribals, and then we get rid of George. So George didn't really have a lot of time to make this move, but it still feels like making this move might have been something that shot him in the foot. You know, like, it's really a difficult position for him. So, like, God.
Yeah,
wow.
it's just, it's very hard. It's very hard. But I think that's just part of the challenges that are put forth to you when you are a returning player, and especially one as iconic as him. Like, there's no moment that you're ever really safe. You could never, ever really walk with any kind of real, like, confidence here, like, unless you have an idol. I feel like you're always going to struggle with that.
Yeah. And I would not be surprised to see George on the next episode frantically looking for an idol. So,
yeah.
But
yeah, because I think Hayley is going to be able to be enough now. If she, because there was a sizable, I don't remember who was in that group that was around her as she was talking in the water, disclosing the secret.
I don't know if we saw. Could we? Did we see who it was?
I know you saw enough. There were heads. Like, I think you could have seen something if you paid enough attention, because there were multiple. I remember, I thought I saw like 4 or 5 around her.
Yeah, there was a number of them out in the water, hanging out, and she brought it up, and people were like, "Wait, what?"
I just don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I feel like, and we are getting to the point too, because like we've said this, right? Like, it's George and it's Hayley on the logo, right? It's right in the bottom left corner of our screen. JLP, and who's on either side of him is George and Hayley. But we are getting down. We're at the top 8 now. You know, like, this is the point where one of them could leave. I don't think we're going to see production necessarily stepping in to stop one thing from happening one way or the other. At this point, 16 people have already left this game. We're down into the final third of our contestants. You know what I mean? Like, this is when these big moves need to happen.
It is kind of looking like one is going to leave at the hands of the other, regardless of which way it falls, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Which
George
also leads me to believe that maybe he will get out of this, though, and they're going to draw that out a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's not, it's not like he's dead in the water. I just feel like,
no, not at all.
Yeah. I just feel like he's definitely in more danger now than when the week started. Like, it's just, you know, we don't really know what might happen next, but it doesn't look as good for him as it did. But he still has people like Jerry and Matt on his side. You know, he still has, who else? Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody else. I still feel like there's
there may not be anyone left.
For some reason, I feel like there's still like a group of 4 that he could, even if he loses like Liz, maybe not, because if he loses Liz, Simon, and Hayley.
He never really had Simon. Hayley is definitely the ringleader on the other side now.
So if Liz, and if Liz jumps ship, that would be 3, and they were down to 6 because they lost Shonee. So
I don't think Liz is in it. She's gone
at this point. Yeah, at this point, it could just come down to George, Matt, and Jerry if they stay with George. But I mean, we still have to see for sure what happens with Liz. But I don't see her sticking around if Hayley tells her, like, yeah, we're going over here. George just took out your number 1, Shonee. Like, you want to get revenge on him? I don't see Liz
would be
sticking
looking
around
for somebody to find revenge with. Like, I don't even think she'd be waiting for an invitation. I think she would just go for it.
Oh, absolutely.
She was already kind of like, you know, bashing heads with him before this. No, I think she would try to lead her own charge.
It's so crazy. Like, this really is crazy, because you really could make the argument that George made the right move, but it also hurt him irreparably in the game. You know, like,
I think it was I think it was too soon. Personally, this still
might have been too soon,
even if you heard that.
Even if it was one more tribal, you probably could have waited one more week. Yeah. Because then you use this week to get out a number on the other side. And then once you go and try to take out Shonee or Liz, well, you might still have the numbers at that point because you've weakened that other side again. Mm-hmm. And this could be, one of the things that I criticized, Simon for early on in the season was how he had this tunnel vision for George, and he just wanted to get out George at all costs, whether it was a benefit or a detriment to his game. And it looks like George may be guilty of that very same thing right now. Mm-hmm. And Simon didn't even act on it because George is still there. So did George make the mistake that Simon didn't even make? As masterful as George has been at times, this may have been his worst move in Survivor history that he's made personally. This could have been it. Shonee, the curse of Shonee.
I think we'll see. I think we will see. But I have to give her credit for her exit because she was very positive on the way out for a blind side of this, what I felt like was a rather large magnitude.
Yeah.
I thought this was a very big deal. And she was just like, okay. And I was like, what? And even in her video in the car, she was like, this was at George's hands. How rude. And I'm like, I would not be. And I was like, that's really funny, but I would not have been that cool about it. Like, God, I would have been, sour grapes.
She's such a gem.
Yeah.
She really is such a gem.
Left with her idol.
Oh,
yeah.
Poor girl.
So yeah, I don't really have any more.
Well, I have a little something that we've prepared.
That's right.
For Shonee's exit. Because we
Stevie.
Yeah, we did one for Stevie because we heard from a lot of the fans that they loved Stevie and they wanted a little tribute for Stevie's exit. But I have to tell you, the response for Shonee's exit was overwhelming. And we put this little memorial tribute together in honor of Shonee because God, she's just such a queen. Yeah. And here it is. I hope you I hope you look at this and just think about Shonee and the impact she had on all of us. So here it is.
Oh my God.
She will be avenged.
She will be avenged. Shonee will be avenged. Yes.
She will be avenged.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, fare thee well. And had such an impact, and I don't even know her. Like, those are the seasons that I did not see of Australia. So I'm anxious to go back. I'm so sorry for not being apprised with this gem before, but we're gonna catch up.
Now, Shonee is the only one that's played the Australian Survivor 3 times, right?
From my understanding.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think we could see her a 4th time? You think she'd come back? God, I would love to see her again.
Why not?
Right?
Come on back.
She seems like she genuinely enjoys playing this game too.
The whole experience. She likes to play. She likes to be out there. She likes it.
Right. I feel like we've seen other people that have come on some of these reality shows and they play it, a couple times or a few times, and then you can just tell they're done with it. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is my last season. Shonee is somebody that I could see totally, wanting to come back, and I hope she does because she's fantastic. She is absolutely a queen. I love Shonee. Love Shonee so much.
It's gonna be sad taking her off the chart.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're getting towards the pointy end here. We've got our top 8, but it's not going to, the rest of the season is not going to be the same without Shonee. Honestly, it's not. So, I mean, she's the top vote getter. Yeah, she's the top vote getter for us in our player rankings, right? So you can tell what we think of her. I'm sure that other people really like her as well. And it's going to be tough to watch the rest of this. But there's still a lot of interesting things to come and a lot of interesting players left in there. So
there's a lot of interesting still to still happen. A lot of interesting. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm still excited. I'm still like just bummed.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if she didn't win, I definitely thought we were gonna at least top 5. Like I thought we were gonna get another like week out of her at least.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, looking ahead, we'll see what Hayley does. There are still people in there that that do want to at least make a move. So hope is not lost. Hope is not lost.
Yeah.
Anything else for the benefit of the community here?
I don't think so.
What else do we have?
Just that we love Shonee.
Yeah, we love her.
Love you, Shonee.
Preseason chat on Big Brother Canada 11 in about 10 minutes or so, probably like 15. We like to take a little intermission. Then what's happening? So the challenge is back. Challenge World Champion.
Woohoo!
Challenge World Champion World Championships premieres on Paramount Plus on Wednesday, March 8th. We'll be watching. We'll be covering that next week, Monday. All right, back to the challenge. Back to the challenge.
I'm so exhausted.
Challenge never ends. But Big Brother Canada also premieres that night. Okay. And well, I'm gonna end up. I'm missing Thursday. I'm not here. So I'm very sad about that. I would like one of those Thursday streams delayed, please. Because we're about to do stream 200, and I don't want to miss that. And I'm not even missing the podcast for a fun reason. All right, it's for a work reason. All right, so
boo.
Boo is right. So please bear with me. We'll talk about that offline. Yeah, boo is right. Yeah, why is Ben in the World Championships? I don't know, because Tyson said no. Where's Angela? Well, she got DQ'd. She quit.
I can't believe we're stuck with Sarah. Don't block me, Sarah.
They're blocking me. They're blocking me. She did give us good TV, and now she's back. She's back.
I will say, though, Australian fans of the challenge, some of your people are going to be in this. So when we cover the Challenge World Championship, join us. Yeah. Some of our friends from Challenge Australia will be on there. So.
I like your representatives better than mine. So
yeah.
So I mean, I do.
We love Danny McRae though, and Kiki. Shout out,
Kyle.
My U.S. challengers, people coming from the franchise, the main stage franchise show. I like those people that we've put up, because Bananas is back. This is not what we're supposed to be talking
Wes.
about. That's happening.
I'm over Tori. I'm over Tori.
I know.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm really souring on Tori. I used to love Tori. I'm so done with her.
It's a shame.
But anyway.
Maybe this will bring you back. Maybe this will bring you back to her.
I don't think so.
Probably not. But that's what we have to look forward to. The Challenge World Championships and Big Brother Canada 11. All right, so we'll be here for all of that. But we're still going to see Australian Survivor, to the end, obviously. And that's that. All right, so thanks a lot. All right, thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you in a little bit. All right, find us on the socials, right? Find us on the socials, Strat Chat Pod, or on our website at stratchatpod.com. It's been a good time. Thanks for hanging. We're out here. Goodbye.